Hi guys, it's Sarah Norwood again, here continuing my Functional Neurological Disorder Journey Series. I'm in a intensive weekly program up at 1 in 5 functional neurological disorder non-epileptic seizure clinics in the country. And in last week's call, we talked about trust and the importance of having support when you are diagnosed or even going through the diagnostic process of FND, and how many of us did not or do not receive support or even safety when it comes to the medical community, when it comes to going to the doctors and the specialists, or ending up in an ER with unexplained symptoms that are, more involved with your nervous system and the software of your brain versus the structure and hardware of your brain. So it's easy when we go to doctors if they do a test and it tests as abnormal or positive. It's like, okay, here, this is what's wrong with you. But with functional neurological disorder, and this is why it can take decades to get diagnoses, oftentimes you have unexplained involuntary symptoms that doctors kind of scratch their heads, and if they're not educated, they can be very dismissive. And last week, we talked about what trust meant for us, like the definition of trust, and whether or not individually we had family support, like professional support. I'm fortunate that I have an amazing family, my kids and my husband, and I have people that believe me, that I'm not faking a seizure. Unfortunately, there are members in my group that don't have any of that are humiliated, embarrassed when they go to ERs. They're made to feel like there's something wrong with them. I even had one person basically explain that when they were having a seizure in the ER, one of the nurses was like, don't worry, don't pay attention to her. She's just being dramatic. When she gets tired, she'll stop. This is traumatic. This is creating trauma and PTSD. So my definition of trust is when it is safe to be your complete self with someone without the fear of judgment, assumptions, criticism, or being taken advantage of during vulnerable times. People with FND are in the most vulnerable, scary state of their lives, especially when and if they start blacking out or becoming paralyzed or blind or seizing or having involuntary muscle twitches or spasms. It is very scary to not have control over your body. But imagine going to a medical professional and them completely dismissing or not believing or criticizing you for something you have no control over. So a lot of times too, FND, functional neurological disorder, can be from trauma. So there's a psychological piece, but it can also be from head trauma, car accidents, surgeries, and it can be from a dysregulated vagus nerve and your nervous system. Like oftentimes if you've been in fight or flight your whole life, it can be created out of that. We're learning every day more about this brain disorder. And for doctors not to be open to ideas and evidence and things just because it may not make sense or be in their medical textbook. If you're in the profession of the healthcare profession of helping people. The compassion that you need to have for rare disorders should be 1,000 times more, because, we're coming to you desperate and scared. Even if you don't have knowledge about FND, please just learn. I went recently to a rheumatologist and she said, look, I've never heard of FND, but I'm going to go online tonight and I'm going to do my research. And thank you for sharing it with me. Thank you for sharing the symptoms so I can bring it to my practice. That's our hope, because the medical abuse is so extreme, specifically for functional neurological disorder people that suffer it, and also all invisible illnesses. So I just want you to know that that was kind of this week's video on what we talked about in the clinic that I'm in, and I'm about to have my next call right now with my group. But thank you for listening and learning and being compassionate, loving people, so that we can help others that are suffering. All right, mwah, take care.